The stars shifted wrong. Captain Tae-sung knew it the moment his ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel. The navigation screen showed numbers that made no sense. They were supposed to arrive near a quiet nebula, far from any known civilization. Instead, his ship floated in the middle of what looked like a military zone. "Hye-jin, where are we?" Tae-sung asked his chief engineer. Hye-jin checked her screens 3 times before answering. "Captain, I think we overshot our target by about 4,000 light-years." 4,000? Tae-sung rubbed his face. "How did that happen?" "The new FTL drive is still experimental. I think I know what went wrong, but..." Hye-jin stopped talking. Her screen showed something new. "Captain, we have company." 12 massive warships appeared around the human colony vessel. Each one was 3 times bigger than the Dauntless Explorer. They were dark purple and covered in weapon ports. The ships formed a perfect circle around the humans, blocking any escape route. A communication signal came through. Tae-sung accepted it. A face appeared on the screen. It looked almost human, but with gray skin, 4 eyes, and a mouth full of sharp teeth. The creature wore a military uniform covered in medals. "Unknown vessel," the alien said in a harsh voice. "You have entered Vrelthan Imperial space without permission. This is a restricted military sector. You will shut down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in immediate destruction." Tae-sung looked at the alien commander for a moment. Then he smiled politely. "Hello? I'm Captain Tae-sung of the Earth vessel Dauntless Explorer. We're terribly sorry about this. Our navigation system had a small problem. We were aiming for somewhere completely different. We'll leave right away if you can just give us a moment to fix our engines." The alien commander stared at him. All 4 eyes blinked at different times. "You will not leave. You will surrender immediately. Lower your defensive shields." "Oh, we can't do that," Tae-sung said cheerfully. "Safety regulations, you know. But really, we'll be out of your way very soon. Is there anything you need while we're here? Medical supplies, water? We have excellent coffee if you'd like some." The alien's face turned darker. "You dare to mock the Vrelthan Empire? I am Commander Velrith of the Imperial Fleet. Species across 1,000 worlds tremble at my name. You will comply or you will die." Tae-sung turned to his crew. "Does anyone know about the Vrelthan Empire?" Navigator Daeho shook his head. "Never heard of them, Captain. We've been pretty isolated, though. There's probably lots of civilizations we don't know about yet." "Right." Tae-sung turned back to the screen. "Commander Velrith, we really are sorry. We're from Earth. We're just a colony ship heading out to start a new settlement. We didn't mean to bother anyone. Give us about 6 hours to repair our FTL drive and we'll leave your space. No harm done?" Velrith made a sound like grinding metal. "Your shields will be disabled in 10 seconds or we will open fire. This is your final warning." Tae-sung looked concerned. "Are you sure you want to do that? Shooting at people seems a bit extreme for a navigation error." 10 seconds, Velrith repeated. Hye-jin was already working on the FTL drive. She didn't even look up from her console. "Captain, I need about 5 hours to recalibrate the quantum matrix. The dimensional calculations were off by a significant margin. Did you hear that?" Tae-sung asked Velrith. 5 hours. We can be out of your hair very quickly." Velrith didn't respond. Instead, his ship fired. A massive purple energy beam shot out from the Vrelthan warship. It was the kind of weapon that could cut a moon in half. The beam struck the Dauntless Explorer's shield's dead center. The shield absorbed the blast completely. The ship didn't even shake. Inside the bridge, a small alarm beeped once. Daeho glanced at his screen. "Sensors picked up some kind of energy discharge." "Was that from them?" "I think they shot at us," Tae-sung said. He turned back to Velrith. "Was that a weapons test?" "Please don't do that. You could have damaged our shield generators. Those are expensive to replace." Velrith's 4 eyes were wide. Behind him, other Vrelthan officers were shouting and pointing at screens. Velrith held up one hand for silence. What kind of shields do you have?" "Standard civilian grade," Tae-sung said. "Nothing special. Look, we really don't want any trouble. Just let us fix our ship and we'll go." "Civilian-grade shields do not stop Imperial plasma cannons," Velrith said slowly. "Well, ours do," Hye-jin called out from her station. "Could you please not shoot at us again?" "I'm trying to concentrate here." Velrith looked at someone off-screen. There was a rapid conversation in a language the humans didn't understand. Then Velrith turned back. "You will remain where you are. Do not move. Do not power up weapons. The Empress herself will decide what to do with you. We don't have weapons, Taesung said. This is a colony ship. We have mining equipment and construction tools, but no weapons. And we're not moving anyway. Our FTL is broken, remember? The communication cut off. The 12 Vrelthan warships stayed in position around the human vessel, but they didn't fire again. Minsu, the security chief, walked onto the bridge. He was a large man with a calm face. Captain, should I prepare the security team? For what? Taesung asked. In case they try to board us. Taesung thought about it. Let's wait and see. They seem more confused than aggressive now. Just keep an eye on things. Over the next few hours, more Vrelthan ships arrived. Soon, there were 40 warships surrounding the dauntless explorer. The humans kept working on their repairs. Hae-jin had her entire engineering team running diagnostics on the FTL drive. Taesung sent a message to Earth, explaining what happened. The message would take weeks to arrive. Earth was very far away. Bo-ra, the diplomatic officer, came to the bridge. She was a small woman with sharp eyes. Captain, I've been researching. I managed to access some local data networks. The Vrelthan Empire controls 847 star systems. They're apparently very powerful. They conquer other species regularly. That's not good, Taesung said. Are they going to try to conquer us? They might try, Bo-ra said. But I don't think they'll succeed. Our technology seems to be much more advanced than theirs. Really? Taesung looked surprised. How can you tell? Their ships use atomic fusion reactors. We stopped using those 70 years ago. Their weapons are plasma-based. We have plasma weapons, but we don't use them anymore because they're not efficient enough. Their communication systems are about 100 years behind ours. Daeho laughed. So we accidentally jumped into space that's controlled by people less advanced than us? It looks that way, Bo-ra said. Should we tell them that? Taesung asked. Absolutely not, Bo-ra said quickly. That would be rude. Besides, they'll figure it out eventually. 6 hours later, Hae-jin announced that the FTL drive was fixed. We can leave whenever you're ready, Captain. Before Taesung could give the order, another communication came through. This time it was a different Vrelthan. This one wore an even more elaborate uniform. Human vessel, the new alien said. I am Grand Admiral Thorvex. You are commanded to proceed immediately to Vrelthos Prime, the imperial capital. Her Majesty the Empress wishes to speak with you personally. Taesung looked at Bo-ra. She shrugged. All right, Taesung said. We can do that. Can you send us the coordinates? Our navigation system isn't familiar with this region. The Vrelthan Admiral looked like he wanted to say something threatening, but he just transmitted the coordinates instead. Thank you, Taesung said. We'll head there now. This should be interesting. The dauntless explorer turned toward the coordinates. 40 Vrelthan warships followed it like a military escort. The humans didn't seem to notice or care. They were just happy their FTL drive was working again. The journey to Vrelthos Prime took 3 days. The dauntless explorer traveled at a comfortable speed while the Vrelthan escort struggled to keep up. Twice the human ship had to slow down and wait for the warships to catch up. Their engines are quite slow, Hae-jin observed. I feel bad making them chase us. When they arrived at Vrelthos Prime, Captain Taesung looked at the planet with interest. It was beautiful, with purple oceans and silver cities that gleamed in the light of twin suns. Hundreds of ships orbited the planet. Most were military vessels. Commander Velrith contacted them again. You will dock at Platform 7. A security detail will escort you to the Imperial Palace. You may bring 2 others with you. No weapons. I'll bring Bo-ra and Minsu, Taesung decided. Bo-ra can handle the diplomatic stuff and Minsu is good in unusual situations. Minsu checked his equipment. He wore his standard security uniform and carried his standard sidearm. It was a small device that looked almost like a tool. The Vrelthan guard saw it and immediately became nervous. What is that weapon? One guard demanded. It's just a plasma torch, Minsu said. Standard security equipment. It can cut through most metals if we have an emergency. The guard scanned it with the device. The scanner made alarmed beeping sounds. That reads as a weapon capable of penetrating military-grade armor. Well, it is a plasma torch, Minsu said reasonably. It cuts through things. That's the point. The guards looked at each other. Finally, they decided to let him keep it. They didn't want to start a fight over a tool. The Imperial Palace was massive. It covered an area the size of a small city. The architecture was designed to intimidate visitors. Everything was huge and dark. The ceilings were 1,000 feet high. The gravity was adjusted to be heavier than normal. meant to make weaker species feel crushed and helpless. Taesung, Bo-Ra, and Min-Soo walked through the massive hallways. Bo-Ra took pictures with her communicator. "This is amazing architecture," she said. "Very dramatic. Do you think they have a gift shop?" Min-Soo asked. "My daughter collects stuff from different places." The Vrelthon guards leading them looked confused. These humans were supposed to be terrified. Every other species that visited the palace showed fear. The humans looked like tourists. The throne room was even more impressive. The Empress sat on a throne made of black metal that rose 50 feet into the air. Hundreds of officials and guards lined the walls. The room was filled with the smell of chemicals meant to cause fear in most species. The temperature was uncomfortably hot. Empress Kuvaris was larger than the other Vrelthon. She had 6 eyes instead of 4, and her skin was darker. She wore robes covered in symbols of conquest. Her voice echoed through the huge room. "Humans," she said, "you stand before the Vrelthon Empire, the greatest power in this region of space. We have conquered 847 worlds. Countless species bow before us. You have entered our space illegally. You have ignored our warnings. You have refused to surrender. Explain yourselves." Taesung stepped forward. He bowed politely. "Your Majesty, I'm Captain Taesung. Thank you for inviting us. We're truly sorry about the misunderstanding. Our faster-than-light drive malfunctioned. We were trying to reach a different location entirely. We had no idea we were entering your territory." "You claim this was an accident?" Kuvaris asked. "Yes, Your Majesty. A navigational error. Our FTL technology is quite new. We're still learning how to use it properly." "New technology," Kuvaris repeated. "Yet your shields effortlessly stopped weapons that can destroy battleships. Your vessel outran our fastest warships. Your equipment surpasses our most advanced military technology. And you claim to be explorers?" "We are explorers," Taesung said. "We're a colony ship. There are 3,000 people on board, mostly families. We're looking for a new planet to settle." A Vrelthon general stepped forward. He was covered in scars. "I am General Vorthak." "Your Majesty, these humans lie. They must be an advance force for invasion. We should destroy them now before they can report back to their fleet." "We don't have a fleet," Taesung said. "Well, Earth has some ships, but they're mostly for defense. We're not planning to invade anyone. We just want to find a nice planet and grow gardens." "Gardens?" General Vorthak laughed. It sounded like stones grinding together. "You expect us to believe that a species with your technology wants to grow gardens?" "Why is that strange?" Min-Soo asked. "Everyone likes gardens." Empress Kuvaris held up one hand for silence. "Tell me about your world. This Earth. How many planets does your empire control?" "Just the one," Taesung said. "Earth. We have some colonies on Mars and a few moons, but those are recent. We're just starting to explore space seriously." "One planet," Kuvaris said slowly. "And yet you have technology that surpasses ours. How is this possible?" Bo-Ra spoke up. "Your Majesty, may I answer that?" Kuvaris gestured for her to continue. "We've been developing technology for a long time," Bo-Ra said. "We didn't have anyone else to talk to, so we focused on science and exploration. We built better ships because we wanted to see what was out there. We developed better shields because space is dangerous. We improved our computers because we needed to process more data. It wasn't for war. It was just for learning." "You developed advanced military technology without military need?" A Vrelthon scientist spoke from the crowd. "That's impossible. Technology advances through conflict." "Not for us," Bo-Ra said. "We had conflicts on Earth, yes. But we also had cooperation. Universities sharing research. Companies competing to build better products. Scientists trying to solve problems. It all added up over time." Empress Kuvaris studied them carefully. "What are your military capabilities?" "I'm not really the right person to ask," Taesung said. "I'm a colony ship captain, not military. But Earth has defense platforms around the solar system, some military ships for patrol, nothing aggressive. We're more focused on exploration than warfare." "These defense platforms," Kuvaris said. "How many?" "I'm not sure exactly. Maybe a few hundred. They're automated mostly. They watch for asteroids and other hazards." A shocked silence filled the throne room. Several hundred automated defense platforms meant a defensive network that could hold off massive invasion forces. General Vorthak spoke again, his voice angry. "Your Majesty, we should strike now. Reduce their planet to atoms before they become a threat." Min-Soo laughed. Actually laughed. "You'd have a hard time with that. The defense platforms would detect your fleet long before you reached Earth. They're pretty good at their job. You dare threaten the Empire? Vorthak roared. I'm not threatening anyone, Minsu said calmly. Just stating facts. Our home is well protected. But we're not here to fight. We're just lost travelers who want to continue our journey. Empress Kuvaris looked at her advisors. They were all talking quietly among themselves, clearly worried. She raised her hand for silence again. Humans, she said. You will remain on Vrelthos Prime as our guests while we consider this situation. You will be provided with comfortable quarters. You will not attempt to leave the planet. Are we prisoners? Taesung asked. You are guests, Kuvaris said firmly. There is a difference. All right, Taesung said. Can we contact our ship? My crew will be worried. You may send one message, Kuvaris allowed. That evening, Taesung, Bora, and Minsu were given rooms in the palace. The rooms were actually quite nice, though the furniture was sized for larger beings. Bora visited Taesung's room. Captain, I think we scared them. How? Taesung asked. We've been nothing but polite. That's the problem, Bora said. We're polite, friendly, and technologically superior. They don't know what to make of us. They're used to conquering weaker species or fighting equal powers. They've never met anyone who's stronger but completely non-aggressive. Should we be worried? Taesung asked. Bora thought about it. I don't think they'll attack us. They're not stupid, but they're definitely scared, and scared people make unpredictable choices. Great, Taesung said. We accidentally terrified a galactic empire just by being ourselves. Minsu appeared at the door. There's a Vrelthan scientist here who wants to examine my plasma torch. Should I let him? Why not? Taesung said. Maybe if they understand our technology better, they'll relax. The scientist examined the plasma torch for an hour. When he left, he looked even more disturbed than when he arrived. The torch used principles of physics the Vrelthan were only beginning to theorize about. Empress Kuvaris called an emergency meeting of her intelligence division. The best spies and analysts in the Empire gathered in a secure room deep beneath the palace. Their mission was simple but vital. Find out everything about Earth and humanity. Director Selrix led the intelligence team. She was old for a Vrelthan, with pale gray skin and 7 eyes that had seen many secrets. She presented her findings to the Empress 3 weeks after the humans arrived. Your Majesty, Selrix began, what we have discovered is deeply troubling. The humans are far more advanced than we initially believed. Explain, Kuvaris commanded. Selrix activated a holographic display. It showed Earth's solar system. Their home system contains multiple defensive installations. We count at least 300 automated weapons platforms. Each one can target and destroy multiple ships simultaneously. Their response time is measured in microseconds. 300 platforms for one system, General Vorthak said. That's excessive. They claim most are for asteroid defense, Selrix continued. But our analysis shows they could easily repel a fleet of 10,000 ships. Furthermore, these platforms use targeting systems we cannot understand. They appear to predict ship movements before they happen. Quantum probability calculations, a Vrelthan scientist suggested quietly. We've theorized about such systems but never built them. There's more, Selrix said. The display changed to show human civilian vessels. Their civilian spacecraft, the ones used for recreation and personal transport, have capabilities exceeding our military fighters. Better speed, better shields, better sensors. Recreational spacecraft? Kuvaris repeated. Yes, Your Majesty. Humans use them for what they call tourism and personal travel. We intercepted communications discussing something called racing leagues, where civilians compete in these vessels for entertainment. The room fell silent. The idea that civilians casually flew ships superior to Vrelthan military craft was difficult to accept. What about their knowledge? Kuvaris asked. What do their people know? Selrix looked uncomfortable. This is where it becomes truly alarming. We accessed what they call the Internet. It's a planetary information network that anyone can access. Anyone, Your Majesty. They share scientific knowledge freely. Share it? With everyone? Kuvaris couldn't hide her shock. Yes. We found technical papers on quantum mechanics, genetic engineering, fusion reactor design, artificial intelligence, and thousands of other subjects. All freely available. Any human can read about concepts that we classify as military secrets. But surely their military keeps some secrets? General Vorthak asked. Undoubtedly, Selrix said. But their civilian knowledge alone surpasses our military technology in most areas. We found something called a university science fair, where their young create projects for education. One project involved quantum entanglement communication. Another involved genetic modification of plants. These are children, Your Majesty. While the Vrelthan struggled to understand humanity, the Empress decided to learn more through direct contact. She sent Ambassador Threxus to Earth. He was her best diplomatic operative, skilled at reading other species and finding weaknesses. Threxus arrived at Earth aboard a Vrelthan diplomatic vessel. He expected to find a heavily militarized world, perhaps dark and industrial. Instead, he found a blue and green planet covered with cities that gleamed in the sunlight. Orbital elevators connected the surface to space stations. Ships came and went constantly, most of them civilian vessels. Earth's leadership welcomed him warmly. President J1 met him personally at what humans called Seoul. The city was clean, advanced, and beautiful. People walked the streets without fear. Children played in parks. It looked nothing like a military society. Ambassador Threxus, President J1 said, smiling. "Welcome to Earth. We're honored to receive you." "The honor is mine," Threxus replied, using his trained diplomatic voice. "Your world is impressive. Thank you. Would you like a tour? We can show you our cities, our research centers, whatever interests you. I would like to understand your society better," Threxus said carefully. "Perhaps we could discuss your military capabilities." "I'm not the right person for that," J1 said. "Defense Minister Yoon Seo can answer military questions. But honestly, we're not very military-focused. Most of our resources go toward exploration, research, and improving life for our people." Over the following weeks, Threxus traveled across Earth. He visited universities where scientists shared their research openly. He saw hospitals where humans had eliminated diseases that still killed millions in Vreltan space. He watched as humans casually used technology that would be considered military grade in the Empire. The breakthrough in understanding came at a restaurant in Seoul. Threxus met with a human liaison officer named Sun Woo. They shared a meal, something called Korean barbecue. Sun Woo was relaxed and friendly, not treating Threxus like a potential enemy. "Ambassador," Sun Woo said between bites of food, "can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Why does the Vreltan Empire seem so worried about us? We're just one species trying to explore space. We're not planning to invade anyone or cause trouble." Threxus considered his words carefully. "Your technology is very advanced. That makes you a potential threat. But we're not threatening anyone," Sun Woo said. "Having good technology doesn't mean we want to hurt people." "In our experience," Threxus said, "advanced species use their power to conquer others." "It's the natural order." Sun Woo looked sad. "That sounds like a terrible way to live. Always fighting, always worried about who's stronger." "We had that on Earth once. We fought wars over land, resources, ideology. Millions died. It was awful, but you stopped?" Threxus asked. "Mostly, yes. We realized that cooperation worked better than conflict. We could achieve more by working together than by fighting. It took time and effort, but we changed." "And your technology?" Threxus pressed. "How did you advance so quickly without military pressure?" "We had pressure," Sun Woo said. "Just different kinds. Scientists wanting to understand the universe. Engineers wanting to solve problems. Companies competing to make better products. Artists pushing creative boundaries. We had 10,000 pressures pushing us forward, and none of them required war." "But surely you've explored many star systems," Threxus said. "You must have encountered other species before us." Sun Woo shook his head. "You're the first intelligent species we've met. We've sent probes to about 10,000 systems, but we haven't found anyone else until now. We were starting to think we were alone." 10,000 systems? Threxus felt his blood run cold. "You've explored 10,000 systems?" "With probes, yes. Not with people. We're being careful about colonization. We had bad experiences with expansion in our history. Colonialism, imperialism, environmental damage. We're trying to learn from those mistakes, taking it slow, being thoughtful about where we settle and how we treat any life we find." Threxus finally understood. The humans weren't aggressive because they chose not to be. They had the power to conquer, but they deliberately held back. That was somehow more terrifying than simple aggression. "Your people explored 10,000 systems and chose to settle almost none of them?" Threxus asked. "Right, we're picky. We want to find good homes without disrupting existing ecosystems too much. New Seoul, where Captain Taesung was heading, will only be our 5th colony world outside the solar system. 5th? Threxus repeated weakly. Well, 6th if you count the moon colony, but that's really close to Earth, so most people don't count it as a real colony. That evening, Threxus sent an urgent message to Empress Kuvaris. The humans weren't hiding their strength. They genuinely didn't realize how powerful they appeared to others. They had the capability to dominate the galaxy, but they were choosing to grow gardens instead. 3 days later, a Vrelthan war fleet decided to test human defenses. Against the advice of intelligence, General Vorthak ordered military exercises near Earth's solar system. It was meant as a show of force, a way to intimidate the humans into submission. The fleet consisted of 50 warships, the pride of the Vreltan military. They performed attack formations just outside the solar system's outer planets. The response came from Mars. A single human, Corporal G1, was on duty at a defense monitoring station. She watched the Vreltan fleet on her screens with mild interest. She opened a communication channel. Vreltan vessels, this is Mars Defense Coordination. You're conducting military exercises pretty close to our space. Could you move your war games a bit further out? You're making the asteroid miners nervous. The Vreltan commander, emboldened by his orders, refused. We are in international space. We will conduct exercises where we choose. Okay, G1 said. But you're really close to our safety perimeter. Last chance to move voluntarily. The Vrelthan commander cut the communication. G1 sighed and activated the automated defense system. She didn't do anything dramatic. She just pressed a button and went back to reading her book. The results were immediate. Every Vrelthan ship in the fleet suddenly lost control of their weapon systems. Their targeting computers went offline. Their navigation showed errors. Their communications were filled with static. Then, gently but irresistibly, all 50 warships were pushed away from the solar system by invisible forces. The defense platforms didn't fire weapons. They didn't need to. 6 months had passed since the first human ship entered Vreltan space. Empress Kuvaris sat in her private chambers reviewing reports about humanity. She finally felt she understood them, though understanding made them no less remarkable. A Vrelthan scientist named Mireth had provided the key insight. Mireth was a xenopsychologist, someone who studied how different species thought. She had spent months interviewing humans, studying their history and analyzing their behavior. Your Majesty, Mireth had explained in their last meeting, the humans developed in isolation. For their entire history they were alone. No rivals, no threats from space, no context for galactic power. They built their technology through curiosity and internal competition, not through war with other species. They have no idea how powerful they are because they have nothing to compare themselves to. To them, all of this is normal. That simple explanation changed everything. The humans weren't pretending to be humble. They genuinely believed their technology was ordinary. They thought everyone had quantum computers and automated defense systems. They assumed every species could disable warships with mining equipment. Now Kuvaris prepared for a historic moment. She was about to make first contact with Earth's government directly, not through Captain Tae-sung or intermediaries, but with Earth's leaders themselves. President Jae-won appeared on the communication screen. He looked younger than Kuvaris expected, with kind eyes and an easy smile. Behind him stood Defense Minister Yoon Seo, a sharp-looking woman who studied Kuvaris carefully. Empress Kuvaris, Jae-won said, bowing his head respectfully. It's an honor to meet you. President Jae-won, Kuvaris replied. The honor is mine. I am contacting you to propose a formal agreement between our peoples. We'd be happy to discuss that, Jae-won said. We've been hoping to establish good relationships with our galactic neighbors. Kuvaris proceeded carefully. She had practiced this speech many times. I propose a non-aggression pact between Earth and the Vreltan Empire. We would recognize each other's sovereign space. We would exchange cultural and scientific knowledge. We would defend each other against external threats, and we would establish trade relationships that benefit both our peoples. That sounds wonderful, Jae-won said enthusiastically. We accept. Kuvaris blinked all 6 eyes in surprise. You accept? Just like that? You don't want to negotiate terms? Discuss conditions? Consult with your advisors? Well, we'll work out details later, Jae-won said. But the basic idea is exactly what we want. Peace, cooperation, mutual respect. We came to space hoping to find friends, not enemies. We're thrilled to meet you. Defense Minister Yoon Seo leaned forward. Empress, I have a question. Why did you wait 6 months to propose this? We would have agreed on the first day. Kuvaris felt embarrassed, an emotion she rarely experienced. We needed time to understand your capabilities and intentions. We were concerned you might be a threat. A threat? Jaewon looked genuinely confused. We're just explorers. Why would we threaten anyone? Your technology is very advanced, Kuvaris explained. In our experience, powerful species use their power to conquer others. We thought you might do the same. Yoon Seo laughed. Conquer? We have enough trouble managing Earth. We don't want to conquer anyone. That sounds like a lot of work and it's morally wrong. Your people defeated a Skrull horde with a colony ship, Kuvaris pointed out. Oh, that, Jaewon said. Captain Tae-sung mentioned that in his report. He said the raiders were attacking innocent people. Of course he helped. What else would he do? Kuvaris realized that to humans, helping people in danger was simply obvious. They didn't calculate advantage or risk. They just acted because it was right. So we have an agreement? Kuvaris asked. Absolutely, Jaewon said. When should we formalize it? I propose a ceremony at a neutral location, Kuvaris said. We have a diplomatic station called Unity Point. Many species use it for important agreements. We could meet there in 1 month? Perfect, Jaewon said. Can we bring anything? Earth has excellent fruit. We'd love to share some with your people. Fruit? Kuvaris was confused again. Yes, apples, oranges, strawberries. We have amazing agriculture. It seems like a nice welcoming gift. That would be acceptable, Kuvaris said slowly. In her thousands of years, no one had ever offered her fruit as a diplomatic gesture. News of the agreement spread rapidly through galactic space. The Vreltan Empire, the most powerful force in the region, had made an alliance with the mysterious humans. Other species took notice. The Skrull horde immediately issued a statement declaring they would never enter human space. They called it the territory of the gentle destroyers and warned all their ships to flee if they encountered human vessels. The Merchant League, a collective of trading species, sent urgent requests for trade agreements with Earth. They offered incredible deals for access to human technology and goods. Smaller empires and independent worlds requested human protection from the Vrelthan. This created awkward situations where humans had to explain they weren't offering military services and everyone should just try to get along peacefully. Ancient species that had retreated from galactic affairs emerged from isolation to study these peculiar apes who wielded advanced power with childlike innocence. 1 month later, Unity Point Station hosted the signing ceremony. The station was a massive structure built by multiple species over centuries. It could hold 100,000 beings and had space for ships of all sizes. Captain Tae-sung attended along with Ambassador Bora. They represented humanity's first contact with the Empire. President Jaewon arrived on Earth's diplomatic vessel, which made the Vreltan ships look small and old by comparison. The ceremony room was filled with dignitaries from dozens of species. Everyone wanted to witness this historic moment. The humans had brought, as promised, large quantities of fruit. They set up tables with samples for everyone to try. The strange offering became the talk of the ceremony. Empress Kuvaris and President Jaewon signed the Treaty of New Horizons. The name was suggested by Tae-sung and everyone agreed it fit the moment perfectly. During the signing, a young reporter from a news organization asked Tae-sung a question that had been bothering many species. Captain, did your people ever realize the fear you inspired in others? Tae-sung thought about it carefully. I think we were just being ourselves. We came in peace. We offered help when people needed it. We tried to be good neighbors. Is that frightening? When combined with your power, yes, the reporter said. I suppose that makes sense, Tae-sung said. But we never wanted to scare anyone. We just wanted to explore, meet new friends, and see new things. The galaxy is full of wonders. Why would we waste time being aggressive when there's so much to learn? Empress Kuvaris, overhearing the conversation, approached. Young species should not possess ancient power, Captain. But perhaps the galaxy needed someone who would wield such power with innocence and kindness. You have shown us that strength does not require cruelty. We learned that lesson on Earth the hard way, Tae-sung said. We had wars, terrible wars. We hurt each other badly, but we grew past it. We learned that cooperation achieves more than conflict. We hope others can learn that too. You are teaching us, Kuvaris said quietly, whether you intend to or not. 1 year after the treaty signing, the changes in galactic society were remarkable. Human Vreltan joint colonies were established on 3 worlds. The humans brought advanced technology, while the Vrelthan provided knowledge of local space and diplomatic connections. Human medical technology saved millions of lives across multiple species. Diseases that had plagued the galaxy for millennia were cured using human techniques. Humans shared this knowledge freely, shocking species accustomed to hoarding medical secrets. Human agricultural methods revolutionized farming on dozens of worlds. Planets that struggled to feed their populations now produced abundant food. Again, humans shared the knowledge without demanding payment. The dauntless explorer finally reached its original destination. Captain Tae Sung and his 3,000 colonists established New Sol on a beautiful planet with purple skies and green oceans. Within 5 years, it became a major trade hub. Species from across the region visited to see the human colony and trade for their goods. Tae Sung was elected governor of New Sol, though he insisted he was just a ship captain who got lucky. His wife, whom he met among the colonists, often reminded him that luck had nothing to do with it. He was simply a good person who made good choices. On a warm afternoon in New Sol's 6th year, Empress Kuvaris visited. She had never visited a human colony before. Tae Sung welcomed her personally, offering tea in a simple garden behind the governor's residence. "Your colony thrives," Kuvaris observed. "Your people are happy." "We've been fortunate," Tae Sung said. "Good neighbors, peaceful times, plenty to eat. What more could we want?" "Yet you could have conquered," Kuvaris said. "In the time since we met, humans have explored 1,000 more systems. You have the power to claim them all, but you settle only a handful and leave the rest untouched. Why?" "Because we don't need 1,000 worlds," Tae Sung explained. "We just need good homes. Taking more than we need would be greedy. Other species might want those worlds someday. Better to leave them available." Kuvaris watched human children playing with young Vrelthan in the garden. Empress Kuvaris gathered her war council in the most secure chamber of the imperial palace. The room was shielded against all forms of surveillance. What was discussed here could shake the foundations of the empire. Around the large table sat the most powerful individuals in Vrelthan space. General Vorthak commanded the military. Director Selrix controlled intelligence. Minister Corvin managed trade and economics. High Scientist Drovak led research and development, and Kuvaris herself ruled them all. "We face an unprecedented situation," Kuvaris began. "The humans represent a threat we do not understand. Director Selrix, present your analysis." Selrix activated the central display. Numbers and graphs filled the air. "Your Majesty, I have run every simulation our computers can manage. The results are clear. If we engage in warfare with humanity, we lose." "Explain," Vorthak demanded. "We have the largest fleet in known space." "Numbers mean nothing against such technology," Selrix said. "Our war computers ran 10,000 combat scenarios. Against their colony ships alone, we achieved victory in only 3% of cases. Against their actual defense forces, our victory rate drops to 0.001%. Against Earth's full military capability, the computer refuses to calculate. It returns an error message stating no viable victory condition exists." Silence filled the room. General Vorthak's face turned darker. "Your simulations must be wrong. I ran them 5 times, Selrix said. Different parameters, different assumptions. The result is always the same. The humans are simply too advanced. Their shields stop our best weapons. Their sensors detect our ships before we detect theirs. Their computers process information faster than ours can comprehend. Even their civilian technology outclasses our military hardware." "Then what do you suggest?" Kuvaris asked. "We cannot simply ignore them." "We have 3 options," Selrix said. "First, we attack them now before they realize their full strength. This will likely result in our destruction, but perhaps we can damage them enough that they never expand into our territory." "Unacceptable," Kuvaris said. "Second, we seek alliance or at minimum a non-aggression treaty. We acknowledge their superiority and hope they continue to be peaceful." "Also problematic," Kuvaris said. "It would show weakness to the other species we control. Our empire is built on fear and strength." "Third," Selrix continued, "we do nothing. We monitor them carefully and hope they remain focused on peaceful exploration." Minister Corvin spoke up. He was older than most, with shrewd eyes. "Your Majesty, I propose a 4th option. We establish trade relations immediately. If we cannot defeat them, We should profit from them. Human technology could revolutionize our economy. The empire that controls trade with Earth will become the wealthiest power in the galaxy. You want to trade with a potential enemy? Vorthak asked. They are not our enemy unless we make them one, Corvin said. They have shown no aggression. They apologized for entering our space. They offered us help. These are not the actions of conquerors. I believe we should take them at their word. And if you're wrong? Vorthak challenged. If I'm wrong, we're dead anyway, Corvin said bluntly. At least this way we might gain something before the end. Kuvaris considered all options. Before she could decide, an urgent message arrived. The Skrull horde was attacking Vrelton Colony 447, and the human colony ship was in the area. The Skrull were raiders, nomads who traveled in massive fleets and destroyed everything they encountered. They were one of the few forces the Vrelton actually feared. A Skrull horde could devastate entire star systems. How many Skrull ships? Kuvaris asked. 47 warships, the messenger reported. Colony 447 has only light defenses. They're calling for help. Our nearest fleet is 6 hours away, Vorthak said. The colony will be destroyed before we arrive. The human ship is there? Kuvaris asked. Yes, Your Majesty. They were passing through the system when the Skrull attacked. Contact them immediately, Kuvaris ordered. Ask for their help. Back on the Dauntless Explorer, Captain Tae-sung received the emergency message. He immediately altered course toward the colony. Haijin looked worried. Captain, they're asking us to fight. We're not a warship. There are 12,000 Vrelton civilians on that colony, Tae-sung said. We can't just leave them. We have mining lasers and construction equipment, Haijin said. Not military weapons. Minsu entered the bridge. Captain, I can modify the mining equipment. It won't be pretty, but it should work against raiders. Do it, Tae-sung ordered. The Dauntless Explorer arrived at Colony 447 30 minutes later. The Skrull were already attacking. Their ships were crude but powerful, designed to overwhelm through numbers and ferocity. 47 Skrull warships circled the colony like predators. The colony's shields were failing. Fires burned in several settlements. Thousands of Vrelton civilians were evacuating to shelters underground. Tae-sung opened communications with the Skrull. Attention, Skrull vessels. This is Captain Tae-sung of Earth. Stop your attack immediately. The Skrull response was predictable. They ignored him and continued firing on the colony. Well, I tried, Tae-sung said. Minsu, you're cleared to defend the colony. What happened next became legendary in both Vrelton and Skrull space. The human colony ship moved between the Skrull fleet and the colony. Mining lasers designed to cut through asteroids fired at the Skrull ships with precision. The beams didn't destroy the ships outright, but they disabled engines, weapons, and shields with surgical accuracy. Construction drones meant for building structures swarmed Skrull vessels and physically tore apart their hull plating. Cargo containers filled with refined metals were launched at high speed and struck Skrull ships like massive bullets. The Skrull tried to fight back. They fired everything they had at the human ship. The Dauntless Explorer's shields absorbed the attacks without strain. The ship didn't even slow down. In less than 20 minutes, all 47 Skrull warships were disabled, drifting helplessly in space. Not one was destroyed, not a single Skrull died. The humans had defeated them without killing anyone. Tae-sung contacted the colony. This is Captain Tae-sung. The raiders are disabled. We're sending medical teams and supplies. Is everyone okay down there? The colony administrator was speechless for a moment. You defeated the Skrull horde? With a colony ship? They weren't very tough, Tae-sung said. Their shields were pretty weak and their weapons were outdated. We just disabled their ships. We'll stay until your military arrives to secure the area. But you're not even a warship, the administrator said. No, Tae-sung agreed. That's why we didn't destroy them. We don't have proper military training, so we just improvised. Minsu used the mining equipment creatively. Over the next few hours, human medical teams treated injured Vrelton colonists. Human engineers helped repair damaged buildings. Human supplies were distributed freely to anyone who needed them. The colonists watched in amazement as humans worked tirelessly to help complete strangers. When the Vrelton military finally arrived, they found the Skrull fleet disabled, the colony saved, and humans providing humanitarian aid. The human captain refused any payment or reward. We're glad we could help, Tae-sung said. We don't need payment for doing the right thing. But you saved 12,000 lives, the Vrelton commander said. Exactly. Taesung said. That's the reward. Knowing those people are safe, we should get going now. We're already behind schedule for our colony site. The dauntless explorer departed, leaving behind a colony full of grateful Vrelton and 47 disabled Skrull ships for the military to deal with. News of the incident spread rapidly through the Empire and beyond. The humans had defeated a Skrull horde with a civilian vessel. They had done it without killing anyone. They had helped injured enemies and refused payment. The Skrull horde, terrified by the encounter, declared human space forbidden territory and ordered all their ships to avoid any vessel that identified as human. They called the humans the gentle destroyers and told stories of beings who could defeat you without hatred, leaving you alive but helpless. Back in the Imperial Palace, Empress Kuvaris received the full report. She called another meeting with her advisors. The humans defeated a Skrull horde, she said quietly, with a colony ship, using mining equipment. Their military vessels must be terrifying, Vorthak said. His voice had lost its earlier aggression. He now spoke with the respect one shows to overwhelming power. They saved our colonists, Minister Corvin noted. They asked for nothing in return. They treated our wounded and helped rebuild. These are not the actions of conquerors. Director Selric spoke carefully. Your Majesty, I believe I finally understand the humans. They are not hiding their strength. They genuinely don't see themselves as powerful. They've been alone in space for so long they have no context. To them, defeating a Skrull horde with mining equipment is simply problem-solving, not a demonstration of military might. They are powerful but humble, Kuvaris said. Strong but kind. Advanced but careful. They are everything we are not. What should we do? Vorthak asked. Kuvaris made her decision. We will contact Earth directly. We will offer a formal alliance, non-aggression, cultural exchange, mutual defense. We will treat them as honored neighbors, not potential enemies. Because the alternative is to make enemies of beings who could destroy us but choose not to.